Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Halcyon Razor Review, where I have a few odd questions to kick off this episode. Number 1, do you want to be President of the United States of America? Number 2, would you like superpowers? And number 3, do you have the compulsion to attack people with a giant elongated purple dildo? If so, seek help. But first, check out this game, Saints Row 4. The gameplay in Saints Row 4 is rudimental, simple, basic, but a ton of fun. Starting off with the first and main aspect of the game, which is the gunplay and combat. The combat sequences are fairly easy, with the right trigger facilitating the punch and kick mechanics. It's really cool when you bump up on somebody in a sprint mode and you perform a special attack of some description, usually some kind of wrestling move. And then you move on to the gunplay, which is made diverse by the wide variety of weaponry that will be placed at your disposal. Things like the black hole gun, the dubstep gun, other variations of weapons that from a standard baseball bat to a lightsaber. These little iterations make the game feel very diverse in the sense that by simply changing the skin, it changes the function of the guns in a meaningful way. The driving in the game is solid, but ultimately useless, and we'll touch on that in more detail later. Suffice it to say, there again is a wide variety of vehicles and customization within those vehicles, but unfortunately, due to the way that the game is structured, you won't find yourself driving around all that often, except for maybe in the odd mission. Side missions in the game and side quests in the game are usually super fun. Of these side missions, my favourite has to be Superpower Fight Club and Mech Mayhem. They just speak to that immature a fantasy role-playing experience whereby you take control of a mech and just wreak havoc, or you have superpowers in an arena with other superpowered combatants. It's really, really fun, and it's great to just plug in and play every now and then just to get that little superpowered jazz going, or if I ever feel like role-playing as the Flash. The customization in the game is extensive, with both your character, the clothing he wears, the tattoos. You can also change cars themselves, you can customize them to your leisure. Personally, I didn't find myself doing all this much with the cars, but with the weapons and your clothing, you'll unlock more as you go along, and they become super silly, super crazy, but super fun to mess around and experiment with. But the main reason that you'll be playing this game are the superpowers. My word, are they fun! The super speed in particular is really super easy to utilise. Your right top trigger is for utilising your main power, which can range from ice attacks, flame attacks. You can enhance your overall abilities by enhancing your electricity. You can enhance gravity fields, you can use telekinesis. These powers are super easy to use, super fun, and they make the game world feel fun and engaging. Super easy dicking around, messing around with civilians. You can get into scraps, go into world-defying battles against the constructs within this simulation of the world that you're playing in. It meaning that the escalation becomes more and more, but as you grow more powerful, you'll find that you'll never ever have any problems taking down the enemies in front of you. Fortunately, that's one of the downsides of the game. It gets too easy far too quickly, and the gameplay facilitates that. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, the driving is rendered pretty much useless by the fact that you can super jump, basically fly, and basically run at super speeds. This isn't a criticism though. I love the superpowers, and it's one of the main reasons why I picked up the game to begin with, because, to be honest, it's probably the best superhero simulator that's ever been made at this point.
Sociopath like yourself.
I'm more of a puckish rogue.
A rose by any other name.
Are you trying to kill me or sleep with me?
Charming.
See, there you go with those mixed messages again.
Then allow me to be perfectly clear. I am the architect of your reality. I build what I want. I destroy what I want. Now, on to more pleasant things. I'm going to place you in your new home. Try to run again, and I'll destroy your pitiful planet. Did you ever?
In terms of the story, well, it's Saints Row, so it's not the be-all end-all of the game. However, you're going to be finding yourself battling against alien forces initially as President of the United States. What more do you need to get involved with a game than that? But as you progress through the game, Zinyak, the alien leader, puts you in a simulated world whereby you have to fight your way out, recruit your teammates, and then battle to defeat him. It's a linear story without many branching turns and twists and turns. The only variation to that is the character side quests that you can do, but that doesn't change the story in any meaningful way. The story takes a backseat here because, again, the gameplay is what you come here for, but in a weird twist, Zinniak, the alien leader, is oddly engrossing in his own condescending, overly intelligent way. It's quite fun watching him interact with the Saints and their bone idle idiots compared to his immense intellect and overwhelming power. It makes the game feel oddly imbalanced at times because the story is what drives it, but you never really pay attention to what's going on. If I asked you what the point of this particular section was, the chances are you wouldn't be able to tell me. But that's not the point. So the game follows the gameplay follows the story rather than the story following the gameplay. Some of the best sections follow the nightmares of the team, whereby you have to battle them for them. They're trapped in their own nightmarish simulation as you once were at the beginning of the game. And these nightmares are very creative and fun. Two being the Godzilla-style boss battle against Paul.
Look out! Here comes Paul! Paul? You named it Paul? Hey man, does it matter? Shoot them rockets at him already!
And the second being a Streets of Rage parody, whereby Johnny Gat makes an appearance after supposedly dying in a previous game, being revived in the fourth one.
Aisha! Behind you!
Johnny! Help!
Ooh! Ha 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 ha!
Ow! Johnny! Help!
You want her? Come here! Stage 1. Fight! Where the...
There's tons of sci-fi references, tons of mini games that facilitate this game's ability to parody itself and gaming culture. There's a million movie references in there. There's far too many to name, and even some of the guns and some of the weapons and some of the cosplay elements are there to directly reference movies and television series, and you'll pick up on them and they'll make you giggle as you go. I would say the most important thing about the story is it's basic but fun. It helps you get into the game and then lets you loose on the city, and that's kind of it. You just don't get too wrapped up in the story and you'll have a ton of fun.
Gonna tell Aunt Mary about Uncle John. He claimed me as the music, but he had a lot of fun. Yeah, baby. Boss, you sure this isn't a setup? Didn't catch that, boss.
Mike is dead? Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm sorry, I forgot to check the battery because I was busy coordinating an international...
The graphics of Saints Row 4 are nothing to write home about. They work to a certain degree, but you'll find yourself never really marvelling ooh, wow, at some of the powers or just the general overlay. The sound is, again, functional. The soundtrack's very, very good. You'll find yourself coming across the odd song or two that you really didn't expect to see. But in terms of the presentation, again, they've reached the limits of what the old generation could do. They've let you loose on the city, and it's up to you to make the most of it in, like I say, just a very immature, impractical, over-the-top, but immensely fun way. Overall, I'd say this game is an absolute blast to play in little chunks. If you try to play it for a 3, 4, 5 hour session, or you try to hammer it out in one go, it won't be that much fun to you. This game is the quintessential game you plug in for a 15-20 minute blast when you're bored between things. It's super fun, it'll put a smile on your face, and you'll find yourself popping it in again and again and again, even long after the story's complete. I'd highly recommend you go pick it up if you haven't already. And trust me, if you do, you won't regret it. Not to mention it's got an immensely fun co-op mechanic. Just be wary if any of your friends do preface the purple dildo as their weapon of choice. I want to reevaluate if you want them to actually be friends with you. Just saying. And that was the first Halcyon Razor review. Tell me what you think. I need some comments, I need some likes, I need you to share. I need people to tell me what they think so that I can make this show better, sharper, and even more entertaining. So, until next time, I've been your host, Lorne. Thank you so much for watching the very first Halcyon Razor review. I want to make this show as exciting and entertaining as possible if I don't start stuttering all over myself. So thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.